Oh my gosh, y'all, to record a video during summer break, it's just impossible. But anyway, today's video is a little chill. So I scrapped in a little bit in February, and then I didn't come back till late March. And then I waited for International Scrapbooking Day. I literally blocked time to do lots of scrapping that weekend, and that really got my creative flow going again. And I have been scrapping whenever I've had some free time available. I've just rushed into the craft room and play with my stash and some 2 new collections that I got, which if you saw my haul, you'll know which ones. I would say maybe like a month's worth of scrapping. That's pretty good. I want to say a lot of it was done during that International Scrapbooking weekend. That was kind of like a marathon for me because I hadn't been in the craft room scrapping before that consistently, and I missed it. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna block in this weekend. But I will go into detail about the collections I used. So let's get into it. All right, I should have taken a sip before I started, but I didn't. I'm so prepared. Okay, oh my goodness, so my child got 3rd place in field day. Yeah, this was never me. I dreaded field day. I wanted to be in the library reading books. So she definitely gets this from her dad's side of the family. All right, so there's gonna be a mix of pocket pages, the format that I use for everyday moments, and then there's gonna be some traditional full page 12 by 12 scrapbooking. The pocket pages, unfortunately, there's gonna be glare because to take every card out, we'll be here for a while. I kind of have like a photo inventory in this notebook here that I got from the Passionate Penny Pincher. So in this notebook, I have the months and then the years, and then if it's printed, are they in pocket or page protectors, and are they scrapped? And so that way, whenever the month rolls around, so let's say, we're gonna go into June, I will see up to where I have scrapped or printed my photos, and I will complete the checklist. So that way I know where I'm at, and I don't have to go into my albums to be like, oh, is June scrapped? I will have it all here in the notebook, if that makes any sense. I am a paper pen type of person. It just works for me. It's easier, and it actually takes me less time to do that than to do it on my laptop. So I was working on May of 2022, and here I have the new Pink Fresh collection, Fresh Start by Scattered Confetti. It says dreamed up by Scattered Confetti and designed by Caitlin Schaefer. So I wonder, does she come up with the ideas and then she communicates those ideas, and then Caitlin is the graphic designer that brings those ideas to life? But anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's a collection truly for everyday moment. So this is what I had to put on Instagram on my stories. I had a little bit of trouble with it because of the black, and I get stuck with really saturated and dark colors like black, or like a really deep navy blue, or like a really deep red. I feel like everything revolves around that color, and so I just get kind of stuck. But I think what it was is that I had this photo on the side when I was showing it on Instagram, and my sister was like, well, you have the black and then you have this black and white photo, so maybe, switching it around and just spreading that black worked. And it seems more balanced now. However, I will say there's not quite a lot of journaling spaces in this collection, and it could be because it's for everyday moments, and everyday moments don't have this major story to tell, because it's just the everyday, right? And so maybe that's why there's not a lot of journaling spaces in that collection. I did have to go into my stash and find a cut apart journaling page in my paper pads, and I did find one from Dear Lizzie Polka Dot Party. So yeah, we went way back, but the colors go pretty well. I glued the journaling space to a cut down 3x4, just rolled it into my typewriter, and that's how I was able to type on that. I fussy cut the inside, but it was a little too messy for me. So I think next time I'm just going to trim down my photo and lay it on top, kind of like I did here, but I left the white border around. Next time I will just have it without the border. This is one of my hubby's favorite photos of the family, which is a candid photo at Dairy Queen. Little close-up of that. Okay, and then still playing with that collection, I have a 6x12. I think I'm gonna put this in between a month so it kind of breaks it apart. Oh, that ends that month. Now we're gonna go into a new month. This was a story of my hubby, but really it's a story of the time we spent at our church when we first moved to Tulsa, the Family Prayer Center. And we were there for over a decade. And I just kind of summed it up really short. How do you say, like the stepping stones that really just launched us. I'm just so glad my hubby was there to get a photo with the sign, because the sign is no more. And then I want to say this photo, my friend Tawny took it, and I asked her if she could pass it along, and she did. And I'm so glad she did, because I have photos up close, like under the mulberry tree, which I don't think it's there, and other places in the building, but I don't have a photo of the actual building. And so I'm so glad she passed that photo to me. Okay, so I used to scrapbook a lot with white cardstock as my background, but not so much anymore. And so this was so plain for me and super simple. But I noticed that the Fresh Start collection goes really good. Like if you scrapbook with your white card as your base, you will love this collection. You really will. I had to be like, no, this is good. This is okay, because I'm so used to either using a patterned paper or a soft colored cardstock paper as my background now, and so this seemed really empty for me. But I think it's okay, especially for the story. I haven't seen a lot of 6x12 sketches out there, so something simple like this was good. Okay, so here I have Pretty Little Studio. I can't remember the name, but it's very like love theme, best friends, type of theme. It came out last year, but I didn't get it until like May, and it's more like a Valentine's-y collection, although it doesn't have any Valentine's words in it actually, but there's just a lot of like relationships, friendships type of theme collection. But anyway, so I brought some in here. There's yellow in it, so our anniversary is in March, so it brings in those spring colors as well. I fussy cut this part from a Project Life card. Doily, do you still use doilies? I still use doilies. They're sweet. Yeah. Love those alpha tiles from Pretty Little Studio. I don't think the collection comes with an ALOT, so I did have to use my stash. That was the first time I had scallops, I think, and they're so good. And ceviche too. I've always been scared about ceviche because, raw fish or whatnot, but it's actually really good for you. It's really good for you if you get the good stuff. So anyway, that's that. So this one is another February. So this is when I was scrapping in February, and I used some Paige Evans. I like how Paige Evans, there's just something about her papers that you could actually be very simple, but it looks so interesting. So all I did was grab another card just like this and fussy cut that card, the hearts out, and then just put a pop dot to give it dimension, and then just some spritz here and there. slapped on a label, put the month, and that's it. This card is done, and it looks very interesting. And this is from my 3x4 stash. Brought in some more of the hearts over here to just kind of spread them along. Love those little scallop board stickers from Pretty Little Studio. And also Pretty Little Studio has a lot of journaling labels in their collections, which I love. Even if you don't buy the collections, they're great to pick up. Okay, and then this is the back, and it was Valentine's Day. Lots of reds going on and pinks. So some Paige Evans. I like that little faux stitching, what do you call it? Rub-ons. The best tuna nachos ever. They're like wonton tuna nachos. Oh my Lord. And then like a ricotta berry croissant and good tea. Like one of the best meals that I love to have for brunch. And then this is a 12x12 layout. So this was kind of funny. I thought this was going to be a 9x12. I thought 2024 in my albums was a 9x12, but it's still a 12x12, regular size. But I had cut it down, and then I was like, oh shoot, no, 2024 is still a 12x12. So then I had to washi tape them back on, but it's okay. It's fine. This is a scrap left from Scrap and Learn. It was like a bonus. We actually tore the paper, but there was already a torn printed on here and stitching printed on here. So it looks like I did a lot, but I didn't. So really all I did was just this part and this little cluster over here. I did want to stitch all my stars, but Pretty Little Studio paper isn't the thickest, and it was really tearing badly. So I only stitched 3 stars at least. I know this is from crepe paper. I had to bring in that in. And here's another journaling space. So lots of journaling. If you journal a lot, check out Pretty Little Studio. If you find that collections are having less and less journaling spots, which I think they are, you can find some labels at Pretty Little Studio. This glassine bag I had pre-sewn. I just kind of was in the sewing mood when I did have a sewing machine. And I'm so glad I did, because it adds that layer and texture. Then I have this vellum here, and I just kept adding and just adding, and just like tuck here, tuck there. And I think that's why I really liked bonus layout that we did, because you really use up a lot of embellishments. Then in the back, I know I have these two on my Instagram. Is another one I did, and again it looks like I did a lot, but it was already printed on there, like these strips of paper, torn strips and then sewn together. That was already there, but then I decided to hand stitch. And again, the paper isn't the thickest. I think for next time, if I ever want to stitch on Pretty Little Studio, I would do a machine and not hand, because the hand you kind of do have to move the paper quite a bit. And I don't think it's durable enough for that. But anyway, so I think I was following along a Chamel video, and she was seeing how much ephemera she could use. And I want to say I used, well, actually, I don't remember. Let's count.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25.
About 25 pieces of ephemera on here. So not bad. That's not including the phrase stickers here, 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 here. I have one here too, and here too. Lots of color and pattern going on here. So I put my photo in black and white. So here I know it's crepe paper, but here my little girl helped me with this. I kind of just did like the card at first and placed them, and then I just wasn't feeling it, so I said, hey, why don't you embellish? And she did, and she had a whole lot more on here, but she embellished on the pockets, and a lot of the stuff that she used, I knew it wasn't going to stay on the pocket, so I did have to take it out. But the stuff that I knew would stay, I left it. This is her doing right here with the gems, and the butterflies is her doing, and the washi here. And then here she had put, I think she put like best sisters, but because it's outside of the pocket, the alphas came off and I couldn't find them. But luckily, the sisters stayed. It was just fun to have a crafty moment with my girl. This is totally April weather, and it actually does remind me of April. And then in the back, oh my goodness, so this is the Chamel. I know I have this card on my Instagram. Oh my goodness, this is so happy. No, this is not Chamel. This is Jen Hatfield. I love that collection, and I'm so bummed I wasn't able to get more of it. I had ordered it and then waited a very long time, and most of my money was returned to me because they told me it was never coming. And then it did end up coming, and I couldn't order it anymore. I had, like, I have a budgeted, right? And so it was done. I had spent it somewhere else. And now that I play with what I do have, I'm like, shoot. But anyways, there are some Paige Evans in here, I think. And then I have these like square enamel dots. I don't know why I bought them, but I guess I thought, oh, square, different than the round ones. But now I'm like trying to use them up because I've had them for a while now. Love the purple that came out that year in that collection and in Chamel's collection. I did stitch around that hoop. Pretty simple. They're having like a lunch, so that teapot and like all the rainbow color there. Small joys. I think that was the first warm day we had, and my husband went out and bought ice cream for the girls. I think it was like 82 degrees. Then I have like in Easter, we were doing cascarones. So basically we have hollowed out eggshells, and after dyeing them, we fill them up with confetti, and then you crack them on people's head. Like, it's just a like Latin tradition that I've always done, and now I'm doing with my girls. My daughter obviously did not want it today. And I just love that bunny smirking. And then, of course, the actual smashing them on the head. And I love to get, like, when my girl is actually knowing what is happening. So that's just, you know, a little insert in there. Those 6x12s really come handy. Here is an Easter layout. I know this is scrap lifted. I think I saw two different ones and then I combined them both together. This collection was really cute. Bunnies in Bloom by Simple Stories. This was one of those moments where like, oh, we have not taken an Easter photo. And so before we tucked in the girls for the night, we took one. We took a selfie. And so even though the lighting's not great, it's not like a one where we have our full Easter outfits, it's okay. It is okay if you don't have that picture perfect on the mantle photo. It's more about the moment and the faces that will change. Like my little girl's face isn't like that anymore. It changes. So, mamas, you know what I'm talking about. Then one here in the back. Now this, I did follow along with Chamel. Her photos sizes are always different than what I'm using. So mine always looks a little different. She's great if you want to use a lot of your collections, because there's so many little tucks here and there and layering. And even though mine looks different than hers, it always does. I love that. Like, even if you're following along with her, your pages are your pages. They're not like replicas. I think it's because she really encourages you to do it the way you would do it. You know, she really does. And I just love that, because my pages end up looking like something I would have created all on my own. I just needed a little bit of guidance here and there, and that's a good teacher. So anyway, I know this is a Maggie Holmes collection, which I absolutely love. And I did get that collection when it came out because I knew I had many photos of my daughter with our neighbor's horse. She rode him a couple of times and would go and feed him in the afternoons. And they had this sweet special bond. I think the children were grown and out of the house, and so the horse, you can tell, really enjoyed her company as well. Now, I guess I was just wanting to go into my stash because I'm using a lot of crepe paper here in Maggie Holmes. So this is a Mother's Day layout. I think we were getting close to Mother's Day. So there we go. So like I said, Valentine's, Easter, and then Mother's Day. Is this Forever Fields? I know I followed again a Chamel layout because I think she had 2 strips of paper and I wanted to bring in some washi instead. And I know it's Chamel because Chamel does a title, space for a title, and space for journaling. And then, you know, the 3 clusters here, and this is just fun. If you kind of don't know where to start, hit up a Chamel live. I don't watch them in real time because she's UK time and I'm over here in the US, so it's a bit early for me. I watch them later and they're still fun. Okay, and then this one, now I can't remember if I did show this in a layout share, but I told you it wasn't finished. So to me, like, it could be designed already, but if there are no photos in it, then to me the layout's not finished. So I finally chose photos, print them out, and put them in here to where they could fit. And it's a Mother's Day. And then I did add these black and white photos down here. I think the original layout didn't have any photos down here, but I decided to add them because I didn't want to put them in a pocket page separately. This is by Gloria on Scrap and Learn Retreat. She used B. Valent's sketchbook. I think I will scrap lift this for many other layouts to come. And then this is a Father's Day layout. This is me and my dad. I know this is a sketch. I rarely see 6x12 sketches, and so I went on Pinterest and I found this sketch. I followed it to the T. I think this is a little different, but I know they had journaling here. I know that there was matting to the strips too. They had a border sticker here. They had this going across. So yeah, pretty much follow that sketch. I used Paige Evans collections here. This is old from Oh My Heart, but everything else is actually from Adventurous. So even though that is a travel themed heavy collection, the colors in there were really good for those photos that, you know, they're about men. So the colors work really well. I didn't have green embellishments, so I went into my thickers and I see which of the signs or symbols I can take out that could look like embellishments. And so I took out these little, what are they called? Asterisks? Anyway, I like these photos of my dad. I don't think I'm like dressed for it, but it's okay. Take the shot in the moment, because 10 years down to be looking at this photo and be like, I'm so glad I took this photo, even though I'm in shorts and a t-shirt. Oh, and also y'all, my Heidi Shine, I think it's like expiring because it's no longer drying flat. It's drying like stickles, like color pops from scrapbook.com, like with some dimension to them. I like Heidi Shine because it dries fast, and now it's not drying fast. And it's actually kind of sticky. So it might be time to toss it. All right, so now I'm going to show you what I did on National Scrapbooking Day. So this is a sketch that Megan Andrews did for Scrapbook and Cards Today on International Scrapbooking Day. This was a whole lot of fun, lots and lots of fun. I want to say she used inch strips, and they were shorter. But I used tear strips or branding strips, and so I had to get more to fill in more of the page. And then she used a Simple Stories collection that had just come out, and I used a Paige Evans collection. A lot of these florals are from Oh My Heart, and most of them are fussy cut, and some of them are from a sticker sheet. This is by Crepe Paper. I couldn't find one by Paige Evans that was big enough to fill in this space right here. If I had a sewing machine, I would stitch down to just add even more texture.
But this was easy, even though it looks like a lot of work. And you use up scraps. So I didn't have to cut into any 12 by 12s. This is all the tops. And then I can't remember if this was for her Facebook group or for Scrapbook and Cards Today. But I know it was on International Scrapbook Day that Paige Evans did. And she did use her new collection, Crafted Moments. I would have used that collection, but I didn't have it in yet. It had not arrived yet. So I just used any scraps that I had left from when I did use her other collections to create these little page flags. She used her machine to sew across, but I don't have a sewing machine at the moment. So I hand stitched, and I used this blue type of thread to bring out my hubby's shirt. This was a lot of fun. I think the colors go really, really well for the setting that the photos are in, and it's in Mexico.
Ixtlan del Rio. I love these stickers. I didn't think I would, but I do. Well, these are actually the cardstock ones, and I just put them on foam, but now I want to get the actual stickers because these are perfect to document our trips to Central and South America. I did bring in some adventures here because the photos are about the partnership of my hubby and his translator. He's a full-time missionary, and he told my husband, whenever you travel to Mexico and you need a translator, I want to go with you. And that was just a godsend, and I'm truly grateful for Antonio. I just had to put that on a page. So this was a lot of fun. I did not follow the rules so much. Like if the paper was too short, Paige Evans would try to find something else. And I didn't. I just kind of maneuvered it to where you couldn't really see that a paper is short because I was like, it's okay. And then along with Paige Evans, I have this layout again that she did. Y'all, this took me forever. This took forever. With Paige, there's a lot of repetition, and it's very simple, but you're repeating those steps over and over and over again, and it can take a while, but they're simple. They're simple, so it can be done. And the end result is really cool. So my husband actually really thinks these pages are so cool, even though the technique is uber simple. So she had triangles, or I'm sorry, these diamond shapes, and then she hand stitched them, I think. And that's what took a lot of time. I wonder if she did a pattern of like floral striped. I'm not sure. But I just kind of arranged it to where it looked right to my eye. I think I told my scrappy friend Georgia that this took like 1 graduation and 2 basketball games to just be stitched. This was taken in the same year, but not the same day, obviously. And it's just about my adjustment for when we moved to Texas. I actually do like that I documented this because sometimes there's like an empty slot, I guess, behind a 12 by 12, and something like this can fill in that empty space. Well, it's not necessarily in chronological order because it's different months, but it is the same year. I think to kick it off, I want to say that Scattered Confetti did a whole showing of her Fresh Start collection, and she did like a grid layout like this, but her collection had not come in yet for me, so I had Chamel out, so I was going to use Chamel. And Chamel has this paper on her Reasons to Smile that has these 2 by 2 squares, and so that's perfect for her grid layout. This was a lot of fun because if you want to use up a lot of embellishments, there's a lot of tone on tone embellishing, so you go into your stash and you try to find enamel dots, stickers, all the things of the same short sort of shade of your paper, and you'll use up a lot of stuff that way. Lots of pieces of ephemera. This is about Spare Week. My daughter wanted to be like 3 things. I think she wanted to be a baker, a feline specialist, or a fashion designer, which is funny to me because she doesn't like shopping. So I told her, well, what have you been wanting to be the longest? And she's like, I want to own my own bakery. And I was like, okay, so then choose that. And so we bought her this cute little outfit, which goes great with the Chamel colors. Got some books in there because, you know, school, backpack, a mixing bowl, rolling pin. These thickers are old. I added this piece. This was not part of Scatter Confetti's live. I knew I was going to journal quite the story, and I like the way it turned out. This was a lot of fun, especially all the splattering, trying to figure out the shade to match the paper. Really, really like this one. This was a Chamel live. I know because she uses a lot of groups of 3. This is Reasons to Smile, but this is different. This is crepe paper. This is not Chamel. But I needed a journaling space, and I obviously haven't journaled yet. So these photos here, one is taken when she's 4 years old and one when she's almost 10 years old. And so they're 5 years apart, but she's doing the same thing. And I think it's the darn cutest. Like, this is not staged. And I remembered when she did it now, that I have a photo of her doing it then. And so I wanted to do a layout with her together. Now, how does this fit in my chronological family yearbook albums? Well, my girls are starting to get to that age where they're having their individual stories. So I am now going to be making personal scrapbook albums for each of them. It's called Raspberry Queen. She loves raspberries, always has. It's her favorite berry. My last one by Andrea Lake. I followed her along again for International Scrapbooking Day. She had like lots of color, lots of pattern, and we were going to use black and white photos as our anchor. And it totally works. Obviously, great minds think alike, because I also did that with this layout. I thought lots and lots of color. Let's anchor it with a black and white photo. I want to say she had, I don't know if there was 2 or 3 strips of scallops, but I didn't have that many. And so I just added a border here of this baking pattern paper because it goes well with the story that is being told. I can't remember if she has enamel dots in her layout, but this is definitely for my stash. I did add in a 3rd photo. I think it completed the story being told. My daughter's baking a rhubarb pie and presenting it to my hubby for Father's Day. I did help them, but I did not take over. They mixed it. They even weaved the dough for the pie crust, and it was delicious. My dad and my sister still talk about this pie to this day, and this was like 4 years ago. So there you go. Those are my layouts. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. And now it's time to put them in the album.